guys, how you doing? This is Manga, etc. I'm here today to bring the review for Fire Force Manga chapter 120? Yeah, 128. Let me just double check. Yeah, 128. Yeah, all that happens within this chapter is the fight between Joker and number 52 continues. Joker says at the very beginning of the chapter, all I need is 52 cards to defeat you, and then we go through Joker attacking, and essentially all of his cards being just destroyed, burnt to a crisp, one after the other. And until we get down to the very end of the chapter, the last card, when after that is destroyed, we feel like 52 is gonna go in for the kill, where we get we find out that all this time Joker had another card, and that's what he uses to defeat 52. And now, before he pulls out his last card, his trump card, his Joker card, using the deck of cards, obviously, because he went through the 52, plus you get the Joker cards as well. But anyway, before Joker does this, he displays an ability that we have not yet seen him use. Now, he mentions that the smoke from his cigarette, so it's basically the smoke from the cigarette. So what we see the smoke from the cigarette do is create, because I'm not even 100% what happens. From my understanding, he created illusions of himself, smoke clones, whatever you want to call it. These clones caught 52 off guard, caught him in a bit of a panic, like, oh my gosh. And Joker used this opening to defeat number 52. That's what I think has happened. Regardless of that, I do feel like this smoke needs to be better explained, especially simply because of what Joker said within the chapter. Just a reminder of what he said that this smoke, this hallucination smoke, whatever it was called, won't work on everyone, but it will work on you. For stating that alone, I want to know why it will work on him and not work on everyone. So that ability, whatever he did there, I do believe has to be explained a bit better than that. So Joker defeats 52, and we find out that Commander Burns is also present, and the ending narration of the chapter just hints that there's a relationship between them that we're going to find out within the next chapter, or at least in the future. So that's everything that's happened in this chapter. We'll progress in the story. No complaints, no really high praises to give it, so I'll give it a standard average 3-star rating and call it a review. Hey guys, how you doing? This is Manga Section. I'm here today to bring a review for Fire Force Manga Chapter 129. So in my last review, I made a mistake. I thought 52 was the name of the guy that Joker was fighting, but 52 is actually Joker as well. So yeah, every time I said 52 in the last review, I was referring to the guy that Joker was fighting. But anyway, this chapter goes into the relationship that Burns and 52, aka Joker, had. So Joker has known 52. Joker has known Burns since way back, and Burns was the mentor kind of figure. He looked after 52, and in the chapter we see just by both of them where eye patches that had the Aurora link. Aurora link. They went to Adora. They saw God, and that's why their eyes are now burning. And this happened while they were out looking for flame humans. But yeah, when they did this, when they went to Adora, Joker was able to bring back a rock which has been on fire from Adora, and he's kept this rock, and he says that it's still alive even since then. But we find out that this Joker's mentality finds the world to be rubbish, not the exact word that he used, and he wants to know why the world is so rubbish. So when we flip back to present day, we have Burns telling him, I'm gonna give you a clue to finding out the information that you want to know. And so he hands him this book. So he says it's a clue, so the book will probably lead him to the answers that he wants to know. I don't know. We have to see as things go on. But that's everything that happened in the chapter. Most of it was flashback just to establish a relationship between Joker and Commander Burns. So nothing more to really say about it than that. I'm gonna give it a 3-star rating. Hey guys, how you doing? This is Manga Sector here today to bring you the review for Fire Force Manga Chapter 130. So in this chapter, we find out that under the orders of the preacher, some Donny named Jonah created the church by impersonating, transformation jitsu into Raffles the First, the person we thought who created the church. So the preacher is doing his bidding from the shadows. He's got his hands in all the pies, it seems like. But this is what we find out within this chapter. We find out that this notebook that Burns hands over to Joker is the diary of Raffles, the true Raffles, to true Raffles, the first wife. And it's through the hints and clues that was in this book is how Joker and Benimaru and Burns came to their conclusions. We find out within the chapter that Burns, ever since the Adora link, he's been doing his research, which led him to this notebook, diary, whichever one you want to call it. And within the chapter, Burns says, yeah, there is no holy scriptures, but in essence, like Benimaru said, the holy scriptures that they were looking for is this diary. So yeah, we get told all of that, and they come to their conclusion, blah 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 blah. We flip over to White Hoodie side of things where we get clarification, but yeah, they all come to the same conclusion, and Burns is like, okay, Joker, what are you gonna do next? Burns is like, okay, Joker, what are you gonna do next? Joker's like, I know I need to go to Hajima next. And Benimaru is a bit concerned about attacking Hajima because they're the ones that provide the treatment for Kon, his friend. And then we get that funny little moment, at least I found it funny anyway, when Joker asks him, well, the church and Hajima are connected, and if they found out about you attacking the church, they might have looked off the treatment from there. Like, why didn't you think? Why wasn't you concerned then? And Benimaru is like, you know what? That thought didn't even cross my mind. I did find that bit quite funny. So to end off the chapter, we flip over to Hajima quick, where it's just set up for them to look shady, and yes, there probably is some shade. I mean, there's shade within everyone within the series. That's what I'm understanding. There's shade within everyone, except maybe the apes. The apes are probably the only pure, like completely pure ones. But there's shade everywhere. But we're flipped over to two guys from Hajima, and they're discussing the bug, and obviously they're experimenting on people, and we get a mention of the person that the bug infected that Rekka brought in, and that's how we leave off this chapter. So I'm gonna give this chapter a 4-star rating because we are finding things out. We're deepening because we're finding little things out, but there's still so much to know. So for those reasons, I'm gonna give this chapter a 4-star rating. Like always, guys, I'm asking for your thoughts and opinions. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And most importantly, take care. Have a nice day.